Okay, good morning and good afternoon everyone, and welcome again to the Perfecto Mobile and TATA TCS webinar. We are really excited about this webinar, and this is a follow-up webinar from last week which we held, and we hope that you will enjoy today's content. We have with us some significant people on our panel. The webinar today will be around maximizing your enterprise mobility and mobile testing strategy. As we all know, mobile is growing significantly, invading the enterprises, and also with the opportunities grows also the risks and challenges, and we are going to address all of this. Just some housekeeping information before we start. You are all on listening mode, and you are all on mute, but we have a question panel, and we really encourage you to use it and ask questions. We have with us in the background many people which can address all of your questions, so do not hesitate. We'll do our best to address all of your questions throughout the webinar, and we can follow up with you after the webinar. This webinar is also recorded, and the slide deck will also be available for you if you will be interested. So let's jump in and see what is expected for you. So today's webinar is actually going to be presented by myself, Eran Kinsbrunner. I am the Director of Product Marketing in Perfecto Mobile, accompanied by Siva Ganesan, who is the VP and Global Head Assurance and Services Unit at TATA TCS, TATA Consulting Services, which is one of our largest and most significant partner, which we are working with for quite some time. And he's going to talk with us, talk about maximizing mobile quality strategy, and give you some information about a real customer use case study showing the benefits of using the Perfecto Mobile and TATA TCS expertise in the mobile market. I'm going to talk a bit about the mobile market stats and how you can extend software quality to mobile, what we are seeing as Perfecto Mobile in the market, in the mobile market industry, and how the mobile is invading the enterprises, and what you should expect or how you can handle and deal with these challenges. At the end, you are going to see a really exciting and cool demo presented by Itzik Levy, who is the director of the Perfecto Mobile Academy, which is the most significant body in Perfecto Mobile, which trains and certifies all of our partners in charge of all the knowledge and expertise. So feel free to address us also with questions throughout the demo, and after the demo, Itzik will be more than happy to assist you with the content and information. So let's start. Just one comment before. At the end of this webinar, we are going to have a short survey. So I would really appreciate if you can fill it for us, so we'll improve and enhance for the future. And between my session and Siva's session, I'm going to run a poll, so I appreciate your cooperation in the poll. It's going to be interesting to see how you address the question which I'm going to ask. So let's start. Today, what we are seeing in the mobile industry are the following things. We see, and I'm going to address it in the next slides, that the mobile market today and the mobile in the enterprises is divided into three maturity phases, I would call it. We see people who are, or organizations who are just growing into mobile, starting to adopt mobile, starting small, really do not even know how to address mobility, how to build a test plan, how many devices to test on, things like this. We then see a much more mature level of or phase of organization who are already adopted mobile, had built some processes, have some running application in the App Store, in the market, productivity applications. However, they are still not governing all of these mobile assets or processes and tools into something which can be sustainable and leveraged for the next couple of years. But we also see some of the early adopters, like large mobile banking and insurance companies, which are among our partners, among our customers, ours and TATA, by the way, who are already in a much more mature phase. And I will address what these phases mean. We also see a growing mobile engagement trend or trends in the mobile industry. We see that the end users in mobile is much more or less tolerant to usability and performance issues, and is expecting to engage with the mobile application and the mobile device in the most possible and easiest way. We'll call it keep it simple, mobile keep it simple. We can see today, for example, in Samsung devices, Samsung enhanced the latest Samsung Galaxy S4 with some new gestures, allowing the user to interact with the device without even touching it. Okay, we have the eye scroll, we have AirWatch gestures, which allows the user to operate with the browser, with the device itself, as simple as possible. So this is a new level of engagement. I will talk about it later on as well. And I think the most important trend, or the most growing trend in the mobile industry today, which we are seeing as Perfecto Mobile and TATA as well, is the DevOps, or the agility in the mobile market. It's not a secret that everyone wants to go mobile, wants to do it quick, fast, and cheap, and want to cover as many devices as possible. But in order to do it, there are many implications, many considerations to take into account. You need the right tools, you need the right amount of devices, you need a solid process in place and trained personnel, you need a very robust automation. You cannot do any DevOps, performance testing, or other aspect in mobile ALM without having a robust automation solution in place. And I'm sure that after this webinar, once Itzik is done with this demo, you will see an example of a robust cross-platform, cross-device automation, which can allow you to do a continuous integration, continuous deployment, DevOps, all of these buzzwords and trends in a more efficient and significant way. So talking about engagement and the previous note which I mentioned about gestures, in the PC world, you see we used to have a mouse and a keyboard. Life was much more simple, and there were no issues with it. People were expecting to operate with just two of these elements, and it worked. However, the mobile has changed everything, and it's still changing. It's dynamic and allowing the user look at just how many various gestures involving, by the way, not only on-device gestures, but also location-based gestures, voice-based operations. We see today that we have the tap, multi-tap, drag, swipe, all of these are known. We also see voice-based application in large enterprises. Today, I will not mention names, we have one of our customers who allows you to simply get your bank balance by simply talking to the device, asking for the balance from within the application. This is a whole new innovative approach, a whole new innovative engagement by the end user and the device and the application, which we are seeing today. Automating it, working with it, and making sure that it works fine across devices, across platform and operating systems in a specific mobile fragmented world is a huge challenge which we are seeing today, and we need to pay attention and address it. Talking about the mobile revolution, this is a recent statistics which was just presented by Gartner end of Q2 just recently, talking about the invasion of mobility of smartphones into the overall world. And we see today that there is a majority, or more than 52% of the mobile devices today are smartphones across the world. And this is an amazing start. It took some time to do this revolution, this mobile revolution, but we are seeing it today. Smartphone and tablets, phablets also are the de facto today used by enterprises and people in the market. We see some of the largest vendors today taking like 31% of the entire smartphone market hold or shared by Samsung. We see the other small vendors. I would pay attention to Lenovo, which by the way is growing, and just recently also announced that its mobile sales just outsold the PC, which Lenovo was the largest PC vendor in the world. Today they are selling more mobile devices than PCs, which just emphasizes the big and important revolution which we are seeing today. Okay, so what are enterprise doing? When we are going to customers, what we hear and what we see, we have this backup data which you can see on the screen. The enterprise mobility today is about several elements. When enterprise is going mobile, it's looking for, and by a survey being done by XQ Labs, it talks about 63% of the enterprise incentives to go mobile is about cost savings. And what is a cost saving, for example, in mobility? If you look at a bank, a USAA bank, by the way, and this is a known fact, they a few years ago started to allow the end users to deposit their check via mobile. You simply take a picture of your check and deposit it to the bank without going to the bank on your own. This definitely costs resources and people, tellers who were expecting to work personally with these end users. So cost saving by depositing check, for example, from the mobile is one way of enterprising going mobile. We also have the productivity. Having the employees equipped with mobile applications, allowing them to be connected to the enterprise backend databases and all the information allows much more efficiency when going to meet customers, when going to get or receive online and real-time information from the enterprise headquarters when you are always traveling and everything. So we see that 51% of the enterprises are also using the enterprise mobility applications for productivity reasons. And we also have the competition. Enterprises see other enterprises going mobile, so they want to compete and compete on the end user share, of course, in the market. And these are just the state of mobile enterprise apps. This is just a few examples and figures about how enterprise mobility grew over the last few years. We see 12.7 million US mobile users which used banking mobile applications, and as I mentioned in the beginning, the banks, the US banks, if you will, or the enterprise banks in the world were the early adopters of mobility, and we will see them in a few seconds as the leaders or from the maturity phases as the most mature organization today which go mobile. Going to the mobile maturity phases, we at Perfecto Mobile define the three maturity phases in the market today as run, grow, and transform. You can understand from this slide that reaching from the beginning, from run to transform, you see the ladder here, it's not like a one shot. You cannot do it at once. You need to grow into it, and you need to learn, you need to understand, you need to invest or extend existing investments to mobile, and you need to have the right tools and partners to work with in order to sustain and in order to be able to support your mobile application, your mobile products. And we have enterprises which have many mobile applications and products around there. And mobility is not freezing as you see today. Mobility grows. So if you deploy today a mobile application to the market supporting iOS and Android, maybe already Windows Phone, right? In the next 2 or 3 weeks, we are going to see new operating systems being released. We are going to see new smartphones, new tablets, which are also growing. You need to continue to maintain and support these new devices and new operating systems. So it's not a one-shot. You are not deploying your application and forgetting about it. It's a constant investment. It's a constant support. And your end user are expecting you to support your applications and allowing actually the enterprise to leverage from his investment itself. So I will run through the phases or how we define these phases. So as I mentioned, and it goes also with the investment, the level of investments and maturity. When we look at the run phase, we are talking about organizations who are just going to do a quick and dirty, if you will, mobile application on a subset or small amount of devices, make it work, do like a penetration to the mobile space, and see how it goes. When you are moving to the grow and you have a mobile application or few mobile applications in the market, you are already supporting them, and you want to continue the growth and leverage your investment in the previous phase, then you need to implement processes. You need to enhance your coverage for devices and operating system, and you must also get reliable performance and availability of your mobile application. When you're moving to the most mature phase, which we are calling transform, it's all about engagement and predictability. It's real-time monitoring of your mobile application. It's governance of all of your mobile assets, like the IT governs today all of your PCs and storage equipment and laptops and everything. In that phase, organization already govern, uses cloud-based solution or things like this to have a solid, robust, and sustainable solution so they can maintain and serve their customers. The various differences between each of these phases are the following, and I think it goes without saying, and I just focus on the transfer because growing it, as I mentioned, is a process. I will talk about where we are expecting enterprises to reach in that phase. We are expecting that the mobile engagement by the end user will be smooth, will be fast, will have rich end user experience, will have full support of all the latest operating systems and smartphone, tablets, and whatever. And such organization should invest in performance and monitoring solutions as well, because whatever you see in your device, in your own region, definitely is not the same when you go in different networks, different geolocation, different devices. We know that different devices behave differently. I can give you an example of the iOS 6.1 running on iPhone 4S. There was a few months ago, I'm sure that all of you heard about it, the iPhone 4S only with iOS 6.1 had a specific 3G performance networking issue which impacted only that device. Apple released a new patch release only for that device, iOS 6.1.1, which fixed this specific problem, right? So from the end user perspective, he really doesn't care if this is an iOS issue or your application issue. He expects that the application will perform, will run in the various network conditions, and will work. Last item here is about governance. You need to have the devices not thrown on the table with non-secured information lying in this device. You need to have a solid governed solution with all of the devices being daily monitored, backup, charged, and maintained under the various compliance regulations which are currently going into mobility, such as GLBA, EPA, PSS, and other relevant compliance regulation methodologies. So, going to building your mobile application quality strategy, and we're talking today about maximizing your enterprise mobility and building a strategy. We know that from the business challenge, the enterprise today seeks to provide the end user experience, the top or the maximal end user experience by performance, usability, full device coverage, and everything. But saying that, they also want to lower the development cost, the performance testing, the automation, go agile with the mobile ALM and everything. And they also want to be able to respond quickly to the market dynamics. We know that the market is dynamic. Every now and then we see new devices, new tablets, new operating systems. We just heard yesterday that Microsoft is now acquiring Nokia. We'll see what are the implications on this. So this market never sleeps. It's a dynamic market. You need to be ready and alerted to support all of these changes. So from Perfecto Mobile and TATA, what we see as a solution, and we are one of the vendors of the mobile cloud. I'm sure that most of you already know about it. So there are a lot of benefits of leveraging a managed device cloud. We talked about governance, we talked about security, we are talking also about scalability, okay? You need to be able to support old phones, new phones, future phones which are going to come even before production. We are working with many telcos, mobile operators, which allows us to serve them with pre-launch devices, right? So having this private or on-premise cloud allows you to address some of these challenges. You must use only real devices. Emulators are definitely, for a long time, in my belief, are not a reliable, not a relevant solution. They can be useful maybe in the few phases in development, but when it goes to feature complete beta stages of your application, you really need real devices and not few devices. You need to have, and we have a methodology allowing you to choose the real number of devices for your mobile projects. If you are interested, you can approach us after this webinar. We can provide you a white paper just addressing how to choose your right devices, but these must be real devices. Unattended continuous testing. This is an important thing. Mobile, in opposed to PC, right? It's a dynamic device. It loses network. It loses, of course, battery. It may crash. It may reboot. Okay, it's not a stable device such as the PC. And if you want to be able to address the on the left side the accelerated delivery models, you want to go agile. You need to support DevOps and everything. You need to be able to count on your devices to be able to recover and work after a crash or after, I don't know, if something happened. And in a cloud-based managed, and I'm emphasizing the managed solution, you are able to gain and leverage such capabilities and really deploy your automation tests, your performance tests without any fear, because these are maintained under SLA and allowing you to deploy your continuous integration testing. Another cost-saving element is extending your ALM investment. Many enterprises which we are working with already invested tons of money in people, resources, tools, working with the largest ALM vendors in the market, such as HP, Microsoft, IBM, and some open source as well. Having you extend your ALM investment to mobile is a huge benefit and a cost-effective benefit for you to take advantage. So this is another aspect which we believe is a solution. The business value of all of what I've just mentioned are quite clear. We are raising the quality, delivering fast, supporting the current processes, optimizing the performance, and shrinking the mean time to resolution in case you find or detect an issue in production. So, just to sum up our solution and addressing the enterprise mobility, we are talking about an enterprise-grade mobile cloud which allows you to develop and test from the beginning your mobile application across multiple devices, smartphones and tablets on a cloud-based governed environment. Then we are allowing you to pre-production and post-production perform performance testing and monitoring. And finally, we are giving you an enterprise-grade centralized resource for your entire organization to use across and share across various geographies for better collaboration. This is like an illustration of the mobile cloud platform which we are providing with TATA, TCS, giving you access from remote, from the mobile cloud platform with a suite of products for automation, performance, and monitoring, accessing various devices around the world connected to real-life networks. We have integration with many of the ALM vendors in the world, like HP, IBM, and Microsoft, extending your ALM to mobile. This is what I mentioned before. You can do it like that. And now I'm going to launch a poll, and I will encourage you to address it and answer the question. So you should see the question on your screen just now. Thanks everyone. I see that you are voting, and I see collection of all of your results. We are going to soon share the results. They are quite interesting. It's a close fight between a few of the answers here. You will soon see. We see that today the leading answers which you are giving are around, and the poll is about what is your top mobile web automation challenge. people are talking about proper cross-platform scripting solution. It fits our final demo today in the session, so Itzik will be able to show that this is something which we can do perfectly. So it's a huge concern, followed by a multi-object recognition within the solution. So I'm going to close the poll now, and I can share with you the results. Now you can see that the two most critical challenges or tough challenges today which you are seeing are on proper cross-platform scripting solution and multi-object recognition within the solution, but also extending existing automation script to mobile. For example, Selenium is also something which bothers you, so Itzik will address most of the concerns in his demo towards the end of this webinar. So without further ado, I will turn it over to Siva. So Siva, this is yours now.
Thanks a lot, Karam.
Can you see the screen?
So over the next 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so, I'll walk you quickly through the TCS perspective in terms of how, from both a partnership and a market perspective, we are looking at the entire mobility testing space. As you might imagine, there's a healthy spend happening in the market out there. What you see here is like essentially a geographical split of how much average dollars per customer is being expended towards consumer mobility services. A plethora of services. It would encompass build, it would encompass test, and allied initiatives that customers need to spend on. As you can see, therefore, the bottom line is there is a huge opportunity, there is a huge challenge, and there is a huge amount of change and volatility that is happening in this market. If I were to go to the next slide, therefore, this would give you a slightly different perspective. I wouldn't read too much into the differential you see between the different industry segments here, but what is important as an outcome of the study that we in TCS did with corporations across the globe is that in multiple verticals there is, or multiple industry segments, there is concerted spend. Again, in terms of investing in how one approaches the digital mobile consumer, who obviously engages in transactions both from a social and a business perspective through a variety of devices. And like Yoram said, it is really a volatile and dynamic marketplace. By the quarter and by the month, we see a very high degree of refresh happening in operating systems, in apps, and of course in the very firmware and the operating systems and the devices, the hardware that come to be. So message from the last two slides before we move to the next one is essentially that there is a huge appetite, there is huge consumption out for mobility-based applications and transactions, and the moment is now for enterprises, consumers, IT departments, and of course players like ourselves, TCS and Perfecto, to contribute and harvest from this opportunity that is out there. Moving on to the next slide. For the next few slides, I want to talk you through what we, from a professional services standpoint, see as key consumer or customer asks. I think the very fact that the apps are very nifty, are available on personal devices, are accessible 24/7, imply a lot of inferred engineering requirements, the highest of which is definitely performance, which is no end consumer wants latency of any sort. Everybody wants apps to launch immediately, to seamlessly get refreshed, irrespective of whether they do a small transaction or a mega end enterprise transaction, to return with a result set or an outcome within or less than 3 seconds. So the engineering asks that are there from a design, from a construction, and from a assurance and a testing perspective are order of magnitude very high. For those of us who grew up in the monolithic world, there was always a certain amount of layers to go through from a design perspective. Here in the mobility space, it is innumerable number of layers, innumerable number of services that get orchestrated in tandem, There's a combination of synchronous and asynchronous transactions that need to be catered to. Rendering on responsive web designs has to be ultra quick. And last but not the least, all the design elements we are taught at school, right from a caching to a refresh to a sequencing to a chunking. One can go on really. All those techniques and the tricks need to be brought into play when we look at the mobility space. So challenge number one, performance, and make sure that there's no latency. Moving on to the next slide. Here, one looks at what I might call as the ecosystem effect. The fact that apps are incredibly heterogeneous, spread across devices, and geographically dispersed across a very wide consumer base implies that they are subject to instant criticism or instant praise or instant reviews really. So what this means is unless the apps themselves on the devices are homogenized for the best rendering, the best performance, the best design on a wide variety of operating systems with both backward and forward compatibility, they have the ability to be elastic enough to be configured for the next release of devices that come out. They have the ability to adapt and in a very configurable way adapt to newer operating systems that come out and really be very aesthetically pleasing, workflow being very seamless and optimal, and of course from a usability perspective being really, really intuitive and easy to use. The reputation of the app and therefore the brand or the enterprise behind the app gets jeopardized really. So the first point was on performance and robust engineering. The second is the fact that since all that is rendered on devices that have a mobility slant are very visible, the design, the pleasing nature of the apps and the aesthetics and the usability really make an impact in terms of reputation and brand of enterprises out there. So that's the caveat we all ought to be very careful about. Moving on. If I can take you to the next slide. Yes, here you look at what would be an emphasis on what I would call is the rigor and the reliability, the uptime, the robustness of the applications and the apps that are deployed. We talked of latency, people want it quick. We talked of the aesthetics, the usability, people want it to be pleasing, easy to use, and the apps therefore get well propagated in the market. Here it is really about heavy-duty engineering. Nothing can go down really. We are all used to outages on various other environments and ecosystems. When it comes to an end consumer who's on the go, who wants it to be accessible on a Wi-Fi or a 3G or even slower networks potentially, what an end consumer hates really is the app not being reliable, the chances of a transaction not going well, the chances of accuracy not coming through. So from an engineering standpoint, from a reliability standpoint, the design and the development and the test of all the apps that run on devices, ranging from tablets through to smartphones, there is one denominator which scores the efficiency and the efficacy of them. And that really is heavy-duty engineering, the apps being robust, self-healing, reliable, one can go on. But the theme is really about rigor and making sure that these are, despite the pleasing nature and the intuitive user interface, these are really heavy-duty, industrialized, engineered goods behind the scenes, which will not let an end consumer down. And that really is a key ask from a customer. And therefore, I take you to the next slide, which talks really about several tenets of what could constitute a mobile test strategy. We, in the few minutes preceding the slide, saw the market's appetite, agnostic of geography or vertical. We then saw three typical themes that resonate with customers when we talk to them. And now here we see how all of it needs to be strung together to really deliver to end consumers who consume apps and services on devices that are of a mobile nature, the various tenets of engineering, so to speak. Let me quickly talk you through it. For want of time, I will spend a few seconds on each node that you see here. First is the device spectrum. I think Yoram again very well alluded to this. The players keep changing by the quarter. We've seen the acquisition yesterday, the news regarding Microsoft and Nokia. Very interesting statistic regarding Lenovo that was talked about earlier on this webinar. The ecosystem is changing. The only constant, as they say, is change. Change in devices, change in form factor of devices, change in the operating systems that straddle the devices, and change in app ecosystems that dominate the devices. So certainly the fact that the target is moving has to be a key consideration from a device spectrum perspective when we build and strategize and test for apps. Then tools, wide variety of tools. Manual is history. It's all about automation. It's about, as we have in terms of a partnership with Perfecto, how could we reconstitute in a virtual mode a device ecosystem on a cloud and make sure that there's significant amount of automation and industrialized ways of testing that come about. That's a key factor. Capacity, how many devices, what types of devices, how quick. Release cycles are intra-week, intra-day these days. So how quick can we get to market is a key thing. Third-party services. No app operates in isolation. It's always bundled and perhaps loosely or tightly coupled to apps that are drawn from other ecosystems as well. So the whole act of systems integration and app integration has to be well tested for. Networks is the lifeline, the oxygen through which apps work. So unless different speeds and latencies and capacities of bandwidth and network types are simulated for, localization and internationalization will simply not be possible. So key element, right skilled resources, both from an industry and a technology perspective. We need people who are in the teams who understand technology, who understand the domains, who understand the changes coming forth in mobile technology. They need to be part of the game. Different types of testing services, full functional, engineering, performance, load volume, stress, usability, aesthetics, browser compatibility, and so on. Wide variety of testing services really. Processes have to be agile. Test cannot wait for dev. Test has to work hand in glove so that together they deliver high quality stuff into production. They refresh the apps at a very high velocity. So the agility in the processes have to come in. And last but not the least, application platforms. Very good example, the next release of iOS has been opened up the last 3 or 4 months. So in preparedness for such releases, what types of, I would say, co-beta tests could be done for compatibility of apps or new apps that come out of the new platform, say on a flat interface paradigm. So, wide variety of dimensions need to be considered really. That is the name of the game. And unless all these elements of a strategy are cohesively done, incidentally, that's something that we do in our partnership with Perfecto. Unless these different dimensions are cohesively addressed, there is always the risk of failure stemming from one or the other node being missed out. Which therefore takes me to the penultimate segment of my conversation, which is really about a case study, large multinational banking financial services enterprise. We can go to the next slide, based out of the US. Challenge which I think very many people on this webinar and call will relate to. First generation, wanting to go mobile, consumer centricity is the theme, and therefore self-service is essentially the theme of orchestration here. A wide variety of business and IT challenges is what they had. And we teamed up with Perfecto in this regard to deliver a solution that addressed various tenets of the business and the technology stack. On the business side, you can see this on the slide here, the need for engineering, which means a reliable and a robust app, having multiple releases happening simultaneously from a go-to-market perspective, speed to market, faster time to market being a key theme that was asked of, heterogeneous, it doesn't surprise you, a wide variety of operating systems, data security, despite all the ease of use, making sure that the transactional security was assured as part of this. and of course that optimized costs in terms of speed to market. All these were the business asks. IT challenges you can again see on the right-hand side. A shared infrastructure, a cloud sort of a paradigm, wide variety of target devices to choose and configure and test on, making sure that remote access was there so that multiple geographies could take advantage of the apps. Automation had to be taken care of. Like I said earlier, manual and just doing manual is really history now. It's all about industrialization, instrumentation and automation, and therefore agile testing. So a wide variety of business and IT drivers really brought our partnership to the fore here. And in terms of therefore what we did, moving on to the next slide, we did a wide variety of things. What you see on the right-hand side really is how we went about constituting a private cloud to enable essentially the Perfecto mobile technology and the TCS partnership to operate. We also had a lab management office which ensured that a wide variety of services were catered to. Governance was something that Yoram talked about. So indeed, roles and responsibilities, SLAs, just as we would do it in a traditional program, but in a very agile, quick, and robust way for the mobility testing services. Specialization coming in terms of functional and engineering testing, specialty testing. A service catalog being constituted so that business and IT could say what type of tests they had to do. And last but not the least, a proper framework around process, around user manuals, and how exactly the instrumentation of testing would work. What you see on the right-hand side is really a chart, a visual which shows the various constituents of the solution. This really brought together the various dimensions of the test strategy that I talked about a few slides earlier. The outcome, the output, you can see that in the bottom part of the chart. Multiple projects going simultaneously live, defect detection being hastened in the software life cycle so that the cost of quality and the amount of rework was really optimized. And last but not the least, because automation was also emphasized on, superior test coverage, which means a lot of path coverage was enhanced, both from a functional and an engineering standpoint. Moving on to the next slide. And to the next slide, the 360 degrees of mobility assurance, as we tend to call it. A partnership like what we have with Perfecto brings to the table various aspects of what constitutes hygiene in mobility testing. While not walking you through again each node here, you can quickly glance from a left and a right-hand side perspective the fact that really various elements are strung together to make sure that a good quality, faster, cheaper, better solution when it comes to launching apps into the production marketplace comes by. It insulates you against the volatility and dynamics of the market, make sure that the various aspects of the latest testing technologies are brought to the table. The fact that infrastructure refresh is very high and you're insulated against that because there is a cloud and an automation tool suite available behind the cloud to hedge you against the volatility there. And from a bottom line perspective, therefore, results enables quick, speedier deployment. And lastly, efficiency, which means optimization using a global services paradigm. All of these really come together. And post this webinar, we'd be absolutely delighted to field queries and inquiries and see how our partnership could be of greater value to you. That said, I'll turn it back to you now.
Thank you, Siva. Excellent content, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. Now, to sum up this webinar, I'm going to hand it over to Itzik Levy, as I mentioned, who is the director of the Perfecto Mobile Academy, in charge of all the training certification for our partners. He's going to walk you through the automation demo which we've discussed. Itzik, it's all yours.
Hi, everybody. I just collected several questions, so during the demo, I will try to address most of them because several of them were just repetitive and I would like to try and answer them all. So the first question that I got was either Perfecto has its own platform for mobile automation testing, and yes, the answer is yes. Here, if you can see my desktop, then I'm connected through my browser to a demo cloud of real devices. If I will choose to select a device, then I will get a drop-down list. Here, I just filter them out with my name. If I will remove the filter, I will get much more. Then I can choose the device that I would like to test on, side by side with the geography and operator. Meaning, if you would like to test your application on specific geography with a specific operator, then you can just choose a real device which is connected at that network and can start and utilize your functional automation testing. Inside our tool, you have the manual testing that we call interactive, and also the functional automation testing. Of course, the word is reaching out into automation, and you just heard how automation is crucial for the success of your mobile automation project. So I guess that we can start and dive into the automation aspect. So here is the cloud. If I can open the device, for example, I will filter by my name. Let's say I can open this Samsung device. What I get is a real device with the video being sent to your browser. So if I will click or touch this device screen on the apps, it will operate exactly as if that device was in my hands. Okay, I can swipe the screen, drag the screen, do whatever I like. Okay, now if I can go back to QTP in order to answer something like 20 different questions that you asked, but all of them are just summarized to the same thing, then yes, inside HP QTP, which now called UFT, you have under the view, you have the add-ins. So Perfecto Mobile is a gold partner of HP and the solely recommended partner to work with regarding mobile automation testing. So what you see here is the add-in of UFT Mobile that we installed into the QTP, and you can do it, of course, as well. And from within the QTP, you can access exactly the same cloud as you saw before. You see exactly the same buttons. Now I can see my devices and so on and so forth. So let me just enlarge the screen. Now I just opened two different devices, and I would like to focus on my demo in the next 10 minutes in order to show you the implementation of the very good guidelines that you just got from TATA TCS and Perfecto Mobile, in order to understand how you can utilize all kinds of mobile object support into automation. Only one sentence of that. After all, you know, I must carry on the academy here. So whenever you are arriving to implement your mobile application testing, you can base your automation on one of three different kinds of objects. The first kind of objects are visual objects, meaning we analyze the device screen looking for a text or an image. Let's see a script that I wrote, which is running with the script once patent of Perfecto Mobile on any kind of device. So I implemented that and tested it on these two different devices. Let me just run it, and when it's running, I injected two parameters, which device I'm going to run on, and then I give the device ID. And is it the application of United Airlines, or is it the website of United Airlines? Let's launch it as it is. The first launch is on the Apple device. I will just bring it on top in order for you to see. What I do in the rest of this script, everything that I'm implementing is based on visual analysis of the device screen, meaning if I needed to look for a text, then an OCR library will assist me. If I need to go and look for an image, then the Perfecto built-in algorithms for image comparison will assist me. So here it is. I just using the normal QTP UFT that you know. I just write my script with a Visual Basic language that you know, but right now I'm working on real mobile devices, right from my QTP environment. So what I'm doing here, I'm clicking on the flight status based on text analysis. Then I'm going to insert a flight from Washington to London, and I'm going to click on search. Then I'm going to inject validations to make sure that indeed I got what I expect to get. Here it is, Washington to London. And I injected these checkpoints into my script. Remember, everything goes directly to the mobile cloud of devices run by Perfecto, and you're running that directly from your QTP. When we will get this report, you will be able to see here, let's extract the report, you will be able to see that for each operation that I made, and whenever I look for a text, I get the text that was analyzed on the device screen per action. Okay, flight status, and so on and so far, including, of course, my whole validation. Here are the validations. Side by side with these injected images coming from my mobile device into the report that you know in QTP, you also have the ability to see the full video of what happened on the device screen during the execution of my script. It's very, very helpful when you trace down issues that your application suffer. If you can hear this noise, it's just because we also recording the voice on the mobile during the script execution. Very, very useful for a voice injected applications. Going back to the QTP, the same script with the script runs patent can run on different devices. Let me show you for a second the object repository that have been creating while I was implementing my script. So just for an example, if I look for a text, meaning visual object on the screen, I can still use visual relations and address my object based on another object. I can address it and say, okay, I'm looking for an edit box by this name and is located above a specific label called flight number. Then I can inject in runtime the number of the flight into my script. So I can run the same script again. If I will so the only difference in order to run the same script on a different device, practically, if I'm using the script runs approach, is just say, okay, who is the device, the next device that I'm going to run on? Then I take the IMEI, meaning the device ID of this Samsung device. Remember, we just ran on the iPhone device. I inject this parameter here. And now I'm asking the United Airlines application implementation on the Samsung device. Exactly the same script. By the meantime, while this script is running, I would like to mention that this is one approach, visual objects. Another approach is working directly with the native objects that you have on your application. In order to get native objects, you must have your application instrumented in order to expose these objects. So in order to get objects on the browser, and I will show you in a second how I'm running the same script inside the browser, then you need a browser that was instrumented to expose these objects. And if you are dealing with your own mobile application automation, then you can use exactly the same approach and expose the objects through your application through a very, very simple cycle that I can show you here. Let me just open that. Those of you who are already familiar with Perfecto and have access to our training demo cloud, you can see this script free for you. So what you can see here are working directly with the application objects. Okay? On which application? On the Perfecto test application. Okay? So if I will execute this script by the meantime, then you will see a whole automation which is running much, much faster than the one that you see right now, because the one that you saw right now are practically an implementation based on visual objects that's involved with screen analysis. This one working directly with the mobile application objects and access them without analyzing the screen. See how fast it is. Here I'm logging into my application with username and password. Again, totally based on application native objects. I do not need to analyze anything anymore. Here I will go into the first screen. I will check the boxes. I will checkbox and the radio buttons, set it to first screen and blue, supporting most of the known objects that you know. Now to the third screen, I would like to show you this scroll algorithm, which is embedded inside the native object support. Whenever I have the Skype, I will click on it. Nothing will happen because I do not have any screen behind it, but you can see the click on the Skype application. So that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Itzik. Just to address a question which was sent in the background, people were asking whether your script which you have just shown, Itzik, can be run simultaneously on few devices. Would you like to address it?
Yes, so every script that you run is just using a resource of a device. You can run a script asynchronously and synchronously. Both of them are supported in Perfecto platform. So within Perfecto platform, you can exactly do that by running the same logic on different devices at the same time.
Thank you, Itzik. And with that, we are about to close this webinar. So I would like at first to thank you, Itzik, and Siva for the great presentations and demos. We have received a lot of questions in the background with good feedback. I really encourage you to send us more questions and fill out the survey for next webinars, what things you would like to see in the next upcoming webinars. You have here on the screen contact details of Perfecto Mobile and TATA TCS. You can email us, you can visit our website and get more information on upcoming events, on material documentation about mobile testing and mobile testing strategy. Whoever is interested in the slide deck or more, or the recording, you can approach us through these emails or contact me directly, and we will share everything with you. So thanks everyone for attending, really appreciate it, and we are looking forward to seeing you in the next event. Thank you everyone. Bye bye.